In the heart of the Cotswolds is a second-generation family firm that's been in business since 1930 and is now entering its third generation. Across the UK, family businesses account for 65% of all businesses and bring with them a particular set of strengths and issues. To help highlight some of these issues, the management team at Patterson's Furniture agreed to a series of interviews, sharing with us their thoughts on working in a family business. They may think their situation is unique, but they face the same challenges as family businesses the world over. It's the first Monday of the month, and for the company directors, that means their monthly meeting in the boardroom. Sales have been slow for the last quarter, and everyone is concerned to address the downturn. But it's not just the sales figures that are worrying Alan.
I've tried to pretend it's not happening, but truth is, every time we have a meeting, I know what they're thinking. You know, when's the old man going to retire? When's he going to hand over? Well, the truth is, I don't know. What I do know is there's nobody better qualified to run this business than me. And until I'm certain there is, I won't be handing over the reins. I've run this company now for 40 years. 40, that's a long time. I'm damned if I'm going to throw it all away by rushing into a decision as important as this. It's always been my dream that one of the children would take over. The question is, which one? Billy. He's obviously got the confidence. You know, you've seen that. And the staff, well, they're very fond of him. Yeah, sometimes a bit too fond. Henry, he's the exact opposite to Billy. He's as straight as a die, and he's a hard worker too. But recently, I don't know, I'm not sure his heart's in it anymore. And he just seems a million miles away, you know. Emily says she wants to be more involved in the company, but she's been out of the business now for such a long time, raising a family of her own. And I'm just not sure she's prepared for the heavy workload that comes with being the boss. I mean, I know what it's like. Where do I go?
Succession can be one of the most difficult issues facing a family business, and it seems that Patterson's Furniture is no exception. But what do the other family members make of the situation?
I'm the person best placed to take over. I make no apology for that. That's what I think. It should be me. I mean, if you asked any of the staff members, you know, who they think should be running the company, should it be Emily? Should it be Henry? Or should it be me? I think you realise there's a pretty clear winner as to that. I don't want to sound arrogant when I say that. It's just fact. I have to think about the future. And if my future, unfortunately, as much as I don't wish to say this, is not with this company, then I would rather know sooner than later, so I can make plans. I don't want to leave, but I'm good at what I do. And a lot of companies would be very pleased to have me on board. And look, you know, I mean, I'm not suggesting I'm any sort of angel, and I'm sure Dad's told you all about my little affair with Zoe in HR, but I don't see how it has any bearing on my professionalism. I'm married now, so we can all move on.
He told you about Zoe, did he? Oh, well, I'm surprised. I didn't think we were allowed to talk about her anymore. Not his finest hour. But that's how he's always been. Act first, think later. You know, he thinks that makes him a natural leader, and I think that makes him a bit unreliable. If that's not being too disloyal. Doesn't seem to bother Dad too much, though. Billy's always had a much closer relationship with Dad than I have. Whether that means he wants Billy to take over, I don't know. I hope not. I'd love to run Patterson's and hand it on to my children one day too. But at the moment it's difficult for me to prove that I'm ready to do that, because Dad and Duncan are still running the show really, and I never get to implement some of the things that I think would make us a much better and much more profitable company.
Alan's uncertainty over the future of the company seems to be creating a difficult atmosphere at the business. But what does the most recent member of the management team, daughter Emily, make of it all?
I've pretty much been a full-time mum for the last 15 years, but as I think I mentioned, I did still find time to do a part-time MBA, and when I left the course I was really enthusiastic and really fired up and ready to put some of that knowledge into use in the firm. So when I started here, one of the first things I noticed was that they had almost no marketing strategy at all. So that's what I started trying to implement. But people are very resistant to change, and in particular, people who have been working in one business for a very long time, which goes, in fact, not just for the people on the shop floor, but I'm talking also about Dad and Henry and Billy. Look, don't get me wrong, I love my brothers dearly, but they can both be very difficult in their own ways. Billy, I'm sure you've seen, gets on very well with everyone in the factory. He's friendly, he's affable, having a little joke with them. It's great. But underneath that, he has a vicious temper.
Listen to me, you listen to me. You need to listen, not me, you.
And Henry, well, I'm sure you've seen him walking around with his clipboard, very studious, very serious. But the reality is with him that since he was 5 years old, he's known exactly how to wind Billy up, and he delights in doing it. And just at the moment, when Billy's so volatile as it is, with Henry stirring, it's making things just impossible. One thing is for certain, unless there are some real, serious changes, things are going to get an awful lot worse before they get better.
As you watch this episode, what are the most important questions that arise for you as a family? Perhaps it is understanding when it is the right time to start planning for succession, or how you deal with sibling rivalry. Many other questions will arise as you start to consider the scenario further. As you watch the other episodes in the series, you will see that emotions and tensions are running high, making it harder for the family to make objective decisions. But Patterson's is not unique. Each situation can be dealt with in a number of ways, leading to a variety of outcomes for the business and the family. To help explore these further, the Knowledge Exchange provides interviews with experts, examples of what real family businesses have done, and articles that delve deeper into the issues.